It's not you moving through it, or you moving past it, or getting beyond it. It's you staying exactly where you are, unless you need to move. And you letting it go, watching it go. There's a phrase used in many yogic practices, let go. I'll speak a bit more about that in other videos. But it was funny that I heard not so long ago somebody saying that they'd invented a new way of seeing it, of let stay. Something didn't sit right with me. I understood what they were talking about. It's this idea of not trying to reject, not trying to just get things out as quickly as possible. But when I properly meditated on it, I had the feeling that this person had deeply misunderstood the nature of let go. Because let is allow. It isn't force. It isn't force go. It isn't repel go. And there are some cultures in our modern world that I can see that take things to an extreme. And so perhaps this person had been on the end of constant extremes of let go, forcing let go, which is truly not it. And so they'd had to reinvent this, what felt to me this weird way of let stay, which is moving towards the antithesis of what you actually want. What's funny is that in some circumstances, let go and let stay can actually be the same thing. Because they are allowing. Let is the key word of both of them. And so it's allow it to stay, allow it to go. And I think that's what we want to move towards. But we're not seeking for feelings that we don't wish to remain. And that's why it's let go, not let stay. And so how do we let go properly, cleanly, in a way that isn't forcing and therefore isn't causing us to go all the way back round to, it can stay. For me, well, I have quite a lot of different practices depending on what feels right, but I consider breath to be perhaps the easiest. Sitting meditatively could be considered the easiest, but it might not be as powerful, because that does formulate a way of let stay. I think if we think more deeply about the nature of let go, what it causes us to reflect on is how do we embody that aspect of allow it to go, but not force it. And in my mind, there's an aspect of opening the door. So we open the door, and that's half of it. That's the let. And I think when people say let stay, that's just, the door's open. So let stay is, well, anything can come in, anything can come out. I'm going to try and embody something pure here, but that's not going to be easy if you've already got things in the room that you don't wish to remain, even if you're allowing and not forcing. So there's an added energy, a current to that. It's opening the door and it's allowing a current to flow. And if something's trapped, if it's not quite getting caught up with the current and moving on, then maybe let stay. Maybe it's there to teach us something. Maybe we're not pushing the current in the right way, but maybe we are, and let's not force that. Perhaps a perfect candidate for let's stay. Let learn. But that's my aspect of let go. Open the door, introduce a current. The current stems from a place of love and a place of what you want to cultivate, not with any energies of need or attachment and anything like that, but purity. Open door, pure current. And from that place, what needs to stay will stay. And what isn't fit for this current that you are cultivating will leave. Or it will be transformed. And that's what I call transmuting in that sense, is it's a sense of transforming it. But transforming is, well, it's the difference between mutation and form, isn't it? For me, if you're going to transform an energy, then you're literally taking the same energy and doing something incredible with it. Taking it through a process, so it's no longer the thing that it was. Transmuting is just, adjusting a small thing. And perhaps that small thing isn't in the energy itself, perhaps it's in the landscape around you. Like if a fly couldn't get out of a window and you just had to tilt the window a little bit, the mutation of the window allows the fly to get out. But I think the fly is a good indicator as to why I don't say let's stay, because the fly doesn't need to stay. We don't force, but we make sure that door is open. And so with that door open, this is just a very short practice of what I do to introduce that current. So if you want to join me, perhaps seated in a similar way, whatever way works for you, place both palms together, fingers touching, or any variation of that, whatever works. Sometimes we have our palms on our knees or up. In this moment, we're just going to place our fingertips together and close our eyes. Because what we're doing is we're feeling that current of energy flowing through us. What are you feeling in your heart? And allow that to flow from your heart to the shoulders, down to the elbows, to the fingers that are touching. And feel it there. This is opening the door. door is here, at least the first door. Sometimes it's here. But those are two of the key doors. This door is often so trapped. So in opening this up, just allow it to flow. And what's flowing? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it hope? Curiosity? One thing can take many forms. As you feel it flowing here, coming into the palms of the hands, see if you can imagine it. What does it look like? What does it feel like in those palms? What does it taste or smell like? What does it sound like? Now you might see the brain coming in. The brain is such an interesting orchestrator. It craves control, but it thinks it's in charge. And it doesn't have the power and the capacity to be totally in charge. So when it thinks that, it's going to panic. Whatever you're seeing pour from your heart right now and connect with the fingers, the brain may be feeling a variety of things. Silence. If you can train the brain to know that it is not the absolute control center, that there is a core of your being that exists right through you, that the brain is merely adjudicating, then your life will change. Suddenly the brain just only has to do its job, which is figuring out what pieces of information are important, what aren't. The brain is the admin guy. If you tell the brain, if you tell the admin guy that he's running the show, you might do a very good job. But that's not its job. Let the brain be the brain. Let the brain brain. And I hope through some of that, you've been able to sense just some aspect of liberation. Because perhaps you're not just feeling mild anxiety today, perhaps you're feeling pain. And pain needs to be felt. Pain can't not be felt. The brain can stand with you on that. The brain can mourn that. It doesn't need to process it and figure it out. So maybe that's what you have in your hands right now. Maybe that's what's forming. I'd like to introduce breath into this in order to bring the current. So with the inhale, let's visualize from the Muladhara, the base core of us, let's visualize that we are inhaling all the way to the heart center here, and we're bringing it up. And with the exhale, we're bringing it out. Inhale. Exhale. And this is a high breath. It's stemming from all the way in the diaphragm, bringing it up all the way to the collarbones and out. Keep that going. Release and relief. Now let's introduce a new range of motion, keeping that going still. We'll bring it up again, but out. So forwards all the way. And just know that you are not distributing this pain, this energy, this feeling. You are not producing it. You are releasing it. It is leaving you. And the door is open. You do not need to worry about it hanging around. See if you can get some range of motion into your neck too. So with the inhale, the neck back. And forwards to where it started with the exhale. Even if just ever so slightly, it doesn't have to be super pronounced. These are micro motions that are releasing macro emotions. Even your breath doesn't need to be super pronounced. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. And this is where you can slide into the aspect of letting the body do what it needs to do on its own terms. You may feel other movements coming out of you and coming through you. Let them. The body knows. And now let the breath sink lower and slower. You have released heavy breaths. Breaths with energy and emotion. You've let that energy rise. You've let that energy release. Now let's restore our pure life force. And so with our palms up on our knees now, or wherever feels right for you, take the breath away from here. Let it sink. Take the breath all the way down to the diaphragm and let it slow. I'm not going to count. We don't need that. The body will tell you what's right. Feel that stomach come out as you breathe in. That's how you know you're breathing low enough. The ribs barely moving. Out as you breathe in. And in as you breathe out. You're restoring your pure life force. And in doing so, let's now return to allowing that breath to rise, but slowly. All the way up, inhale, hold. Exhale, all the way down. Hold. Inhale, all the way up. Hold. Exhale, all the way down. Hold. Return to the diaphragm breathing. Let's consider the phrase, I am. It's a very basic and simple phrase, but that is its power. There's nothing attached to it. There is no let's stay in I am. But it doesn't embody a held let go. It's a quiet knowing that nothing must remain. And that doesn't mean that it must be that nothing remains. It's very different. It means that nothing must remain. Everything is beautiful. And when we say that, depending on where we are, what time, how we're feeling, where we are in our life, thoughts may arise in contra to that. No, everything isn't beautiful. We may hear protestations. What is our definition of beauty? What are we seeking? And why? And how? And then, what is seeking us? And why? And where? And how? Let's finish with low diaphragm breaths, slow, slow, slow.